Rhulani, do you remember the day I came here and we had a conversation about me resigning from work? Do you remember that conversation?
Was it?
I think we were there. Do you remember what you said to me?
No.
You said, Rwanda, don't resign up until you've paid up all your debts. You reduce your, what do I call this? Like my expenses, how I live, cut back, cut costs, live off the bare minimum. And then you said that when I do resign, I must not look to imali, the money you get from work. That money, I should take it and probably take about 10% to factor in things like rent for the first 6 months, or any operational costs or any equipment that I want to quickly get. Then the rest of the money I must save it for my retirement. And then the business must actually work the money for the business, and I should get a salary.
I remember. Well, I don't remember the conversation, but I know that's my philosophy. I still pay my things 12 months in advance. Things like your DSTV, people don't know that they give you 1 month off if you pay that. My tracker, my insurance, those are the things. Month end, you don't have that stress that you've got 60,000 rand that needs to go out over little stuff, So it's one of those. And
I live off by it.
Oh, is it?
I promise you. I'm sure your conversation it was about maybe 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Can I tell you I'm debt free?
Serious? Welcome to my world.
I am debt free. I live off the bare minimum. Mind you, not what people see on social media, because people always they fail to understand that social media is not an honest dictation of or representation of a person's life. I could be at Cream, my favorite restaurant there, and I'm not there for personal reasons. I'm there for a meeting, but I'll shoot it ingati I'm there having the most expensive meal, but it's actually on the business account. It's factored for, and my normal life is bread and tea at home, and that's what I like. I love bread and tea.
What you've just said now is that it's on the business account. You see, I always say that people will always use the business money to pay off their personal stuff.
Yes.
You've got a personal account and a business account for a reason.
Yes.
So if you don't differentiate the two, it's a problem, because once you start using the business money for personal stuff, then your financials don't reflect exactly how do you make a decision if your financials are not reflecting exactly what it's supposed to reflect? How do you make decisions such as, when do I buy new equipment? I see many people saying, on Facebook especially, I've got an event for 100 people. How do I charge? Therefore, it's a red flag for me, because this person it tells me that this person doesn't know how much their equipment is worth. Yeah. Some people say, I will charge them 5,000 rand for an event for 50 people because I own the equipment. But have you paid off your equipment? What is the depreciation? Yeah, the equipment. You see, so those are the things that, when you're running a business, you need to know these kind of things. And obviously to be compliant with your tax clearance, your COIDA, and so on. People will say, what am I going to do with such a document? You don't know when an opportunity knocks.
Rhulani, when you're talking to a point, I always tell people, for me it happened, I think, after the conversation with you, let me say 2.5 or 3 years ago. That's when I learned to call my business a business and not a part-time or a hustle.
Or a spaza shop.
Or a spaza shop. It's not it's not like something I do as a hobby. No, it's a business. And the day I decided to treat it as a business is the day I started to see actual money. And I finally understood the use of having a person who looks after my books. I mean, the amount of money he told me I earned that 1 year, I was so shocked.
And you didn't see
I didn't see it. And it's like, Luando, what did you do with this money? And I was like, I bought, and I was able to say I bought equipment, and it was like, good. Now next day we do this, we do it better, but now you must keep your receipts, you must do this, you must do that. And I meet with this guy every now and again, and he's always like, your books, Luando. your
business
books.
will always treat you the way you treat it.
Ne?
It will always treat you the way you treat
Yeah.
it. I had a friend who came here the other day and said, Rhulani, you're in the office at 8 o'clock every day. Every day, like every day. I'm talking about even Saturday and Sunday. And you leave here exactly 5 o'clock when you don't feel like it. But you're the boss, you can go home. I'm like, no. You see, if you don't have accountability in your business, it's a problem. Why do you need to have accountability in your business? The reason why I'm here every day and I come here at 8 o'clock, make sure I'm in the office at 8 o'clock, whether I'm productive or I'm not productive, the fact is I showed up. And when an opportunity knocks in the office, I'm here. I'm here to receive it. So make sure in your business you account to someone. For example, I've got 3 board members, right? I also have a mentor. And my mentor is extremely busy. Her name is Trifosa Ramano.
So Google her.
Yeah, definitely. Google her. You understand? And she's a busy woman, but she makes time. She's got passion in helping young business people, especially women, you know. So always make sure that you account to someone. Last week I was not feeling well, and I went to the hospital. I came back with a sick note, and I gave it to my second in charge. And she's like, why did you have to get a sick note? I'm like, because I was not in the office. And I actually file these things, you know. So I try my best to treat my business like how I would behave when I'm in corporate. And I see the results of that. It's the little things, but trust me, it makes so much difference in the future.
I can relate to that. But now, Mamela Rhulani, we went straight into the thing because I know you. Now, there's a lot of people who actually don't know who is this Rhulani that you are talking to. In the whichever way feels best to you, tell them who are you, what do you do, and what is Bold Pearl.
Okay, so I'm a lady from Guyana, born in a family of 4 boys. Still blessed with my parents.
You're so
yes,
lucky.
I'm the only girl. I've got 2 handsome little boys. And Bold Pearl, it's an event hiring company. However, we do have branches, meaning not branches as in, yes, we do have branches as in we operate outside Gauteng. But what I want to get into is that we've got departments. So the first department is the catering, which many people do not know about. We've got a kitchen that is compliant, that we hire out and also do private catering to companies. We are known, 80% of our business comes from hiring equipment. We've got variety of equipment where people will come and hire, especially event planners. And then we style corporate events. And then we also do the cleaning, which is part of the department. And lastly, we are CITA accredited, so we teach young people, or we train young people on the event side of things, or in the hospitality industry.
When do these happen, the training sessions?
We currently have some of the people that are working for me.
Yeah.
Most of them, they are paid by CITA to come and work here.
All right.
So that way I'm mentoring them and I'm teaching them, but in return I get paid for that, and I also get free labor because they are paid by the government to do
nice.
that. Yeah.
I think that's probably why my accountant is busy with me, telling me, he's always said, Londo, there's a bigger plan to why I want you to have your books right. I want to get you funding in things, but we can only do that if you have a record of your books. And you cannot approach these places with just 1 year. You must have like a proven record of handling and running an actual business.
I mean, the government will not trust you to give you 20 students to come and be trained by you if you can't even handle your finances. True. You know, or you don't have the discipline to do that. And they do come and check. They will give you surprise visits, and they will interview the students, they will interview your employees, just to try and find out if you are compliant to what you said you're going to do.
You branch out quite a bit out of Gauteng, and with the staff complement that, I don't know how many people you have, but I can imagine you have quite a huge staff complement of a mixture of men and women, because you have a lot of equipment, you have trucks, you have the bikies. None of these things happen with just you. So now, how are you building, or how do you build a solid team? You do.
Okay, so I struggled a lot in the beginning. I think people used to be here for like 3 months and go. Like I'm the worst when it comes to human resource, and I've admitted and I've learned. But one thing that I've learned, I was in an incubation with Race Corp, right? And I told them that I'm struggling when it comes to human resource. But I have learned this. Ball pen is my vision. Ball pen is my dream, right? So the problem that I used to have was that I didn't understand why people don't have visions. People don't dream bigger than, earning 5,000 rand a month, and people didn't care. They would just break your things and life goes on. But I've learned that it's my vision, it's my baby. Therefore, I should not expect someone else to treat it the way I treat it, right? And I've also learned that we are different. We can't all be entrepreneurs. There's a reason why the Bible talks about servants and masters.
Yes.
So I need to respect them and what they want to do with their life. I can only do so much, meaning I can train them, I can teach them, and make sure that when they leave Ballpen, they are able to go start their own if they want to, or they can be able to go learn more. But the truth of the matter is that you will always have people that will come in drunk. There's nothing you can do about it. You've done your part. Respect your employees, they will respect you back. Transparency. For example, I sit with my employees and I show them the numbers. If we're not doing well, I tell them we're not doing well. What role do you want to play to help the business grow? I still have currently the first 5 people that I employed, 2 of them are still here. That I started with the business. Not that they didn't go and come back. They do go and they come back. Funny enough, they even laugh and say, "How was away?" But I believe that it's how I treat them.
Yes.
And they will go out and they see that, she was not as bad. A boss will always be a bad person, whether you become nice or not. A boss will always be a monster. So don't even try to be a sweet person because you will never win. So as long as they see that when they go out there, I used to treat them better, and then they come back, then I'm happy with that.
Is it better to have a big bank balance? So I make all this money last year. Through COVID, I was blessed, I was working. And what would have been the best decision from that money? Keep it in my bank account and then be this amazing person who flashes a bank account, or rather reinvest it in my business through equipment, upskilling myself. What's the best use, bank balance or equipment
it depends
investing?
on what your vision is. When I started the business, it was during the time 2012 where every month the fuel price was going up. So I started the business because I needed money to help me. I had just bought a new car that was just drinking fuel like you won't believe. So, or you want to grow the business into a legacy that you leave for your kids. It depends on what your vision. And there's nothing wrong with flashing the money because that's what you want. And there's nothing wrong with growing the business. That's what you want. So people will always make you feel better because you need to live this luxury life where you are in a private jet and so on. I worked hard because that's what I wanted to live for.
Yes.
And if I want to grow my business, I will. If I want to leave a legacy, then I will deprive myself for so many things because I want to grow my business. So either or, for me, it's okay. So I don't have a problem.
I guess this also goes back to having your personal bank balance, earning a fair salary that pays you, and then you have your business account. Now, at this level that you are, I imagine you have operational costs and overheads and how do you manage all of that?
Okay, so I do it differently from everyone else, right? For example, if a car needs service and so on, the first 15 days of the month, that's when those things are done, right? That money is used for that. If we've got excess, I've got a policy that every time my bank account gets to 20,000 rand, it goes into my savings account, and whatever is left, it starts building up from there, right? So the first 15 months, the first 15 days of the month, it's money that is used for if you want to buy packaging, service a car, bigger stuff. And then from there on up until month end, I use that money. I really do not touch that money, because that will be my monthly expenses. So if there is excess, then it goes into I throw it into my savings account.
Now in COVID, how did you guys get through? Were you still working?
So on the event side of things,
I think it was level 3 when they opened.
Yeah. We were working intimate parties. Obviously, we're not making as much as we used to.
Yes.
Like I said, there's money that I always throw into my savings. That's the money that I survived with, because as much as there was COVID relief, there were some expenses that I still needed to pay. So that's how we survived. And also, that's when, as an entrepreneur, you had to be creative. I do not only support my kids, I also support the families of my employees. So I had to start new businesses, like the cleaning department. It was new, it was in demand, and it helped us through.
So with your staff, COVID affects the business financially. You made less. Every business did. So it affected the income that you had. So it affected their income. Did you manage to keep all your staff with the new ventures that you went into?
No, I didn't. Because obviously it was difficult, but I sat with my staff and said, look, this is the situation. This is what I can afford. There will be times when I will not afford anything. And lucky enough, they understood. But we were lucky enough, 2 months down the line, we managed to get bigger projects during COVID, and most of them came back.
Anyone who wants to go into events full time, what do you want to say to that person? What do you think they should know? Let's say before COVID, what advice would you give? And then now in COVID, what advice would you give for someone who wants to go into events full time, who's still
understand why you are doing it? Don't do it because you're desperate. Many people are sitting with equipment in their garages. They did it because Rhulani is doing it, therefore they can be able to do it. It's not a good enough reason to do it. Events are strenuous. They need passion, and if you're going into events, know where in events do you want to be. Do you want to plan? Do you want to hire out, and so on? It's a good industry to go into, but know why you want to go into it.
Rand's distributors. And I also did a vlog at his store. He was so nice. I've always spoken to him via WhatsApp when I used to buy things, but this was the first time actually meeting him. Such a nice guy. And I don't know when or how I mentioned I was gonna be seeing you, and he was like, please, please greet her. And he was so excited and like, that's my friend there. You see if there's one person in events that that's my dog, that one, please tell her I said hi. And in just that split second, I was reminded about, number one, how small the industry is, as large as it looks from the outside. Inside it's small. 2, relationships. How important are those in our industry?
So I think relationships let's start with the events industry being small. To see a lot of people who've just started their businesses, and many will say, there's lots of events people, we're not making money because everyone is just joining and so on. The pie is always bigger.
Amen.
Know your target market.
Amen.
And go for your target market.
Amen.
I always say that when you go to Mall of Africa, there's Chicken Licken, there's Nando's, there's KFC, there's Barcelos. They all sell chicken, and they are next to each other, right? How are they making profit? Because they've got they've got that unique selling point, so have that. So to be able to be different, then you will get customers. Coming into relationships, well, friends, yeah. Yeah, I when I started the business, there was just that big brother who was just there to come and carry you right from the beginning. And I've grown to know them, and we struggled together. We shared how we want to grow and how we want the industry to be like. So yeah, relationships are very important. I go as far as, if I know that you are my supplier or my customers, I will have a personal relationship. I will know who your kids are, who your mother is, where you come from, what are your home challenges, and so on. So that's how I build relationships. And in return, I don't always know. I mean, obviously sometimes you negotiate for discounts and so on, but it helps. The day you need something and you do not have the money, you know that I will always go to Rens and say, guys, you know me, I need this, and it's agent, and they will go all out for you. Why? Because you've built that relationship over the years.
Black businesses, this is obviously known. We are new to entrepreneurship officially, but we've always been entrepreneurs. Our mothers have always sold chicken feet. They've always.
You are right that we've just started this entrepreneurship officially.
It's black people.
And for example, I always say that when Ball Pell makes R1 in 2010, in 2011 it makes 11 rand.
Yes.
In 2014 it makes 13 rand. Right? There's new challenges, there's new experiences, there's new things. The more you grow, the more you don't know. You don't even know how to handle it. Instead of us pressing each other, right? Let's learn to teach each other, because we don't know. My success is your success. You should be able to give me a high five and say, sister, well done, you are the queen.
Yes.
So let's learn to build each other. I don't always know, and I'm not always a bubble person. There's a lot of things that we, as women, for example, we go through a lot. We've got families, we are in industries where they are male dominated. There's lots of people, there's just lots of challenges left, right, and center. So let's rather build each other. Come to me and tell me. And if I don't listen to you, I didn't listen to you, but you will have done your part. When I sit,
that's what home, I say. You will think, a person will think about a bad review.
Remember before I sleep that, she was correct. I might not come back and say you were correct,
but you will start implementing.
Will not happen again. Yeah, I think
that's what
I also had to just fall and roll and jump by myself, because I think the first person that I called and asked for information was very rude to me. So I decided, I'm going to do this by myself. And I've learned a lot, because, the struggle was just so real, it's not even funny. But by the time I decided to leave corporate and do it on a full-time basis, I already knew what was ahead of me. And I already knew that it's not going to be a smooth ride, The entrepreneurs that you see on social media, and the entrepreneurs, as entrepreneurs, we only show our successes.
Yes.
We just need to spend time one day and just show our struggles, so that, people know that you don't quit. People quit because what they see on social media and what they are experiencing is too different.
Yes, they don't match, so they don't relate.
I've also noticed that, with funerals, the funeral parlors were the ones that used to just decorate and so on.
Yes.
Now that people don't have to buy a cow and eat rice at 6 o'clock in the morning after the funeral and so on, they spend more money on the decor side.
Yes.
So let's capitalize on that, So, like I'm saying, let's be creative. That's the only way we're going to survive.
And survive we have to. Rhulani, thank you so much for opening up your space for me. I'm sure you are the first of these series of interviews that I want to do as a means to pick myself up. I've been off events and I want to come back, and I'm trying to motivate myself also. So motivating myself and also sharing information. Hopefully one person can be, changed or given something to look forward to in the year.
The secret is it's in not giving up. There will be stumbles, there will be cries, there will be screams, but giving up is never an option.
Amen. And if people want to get in touch with you, websites, Instagram,
so, Facebook, it's Bold Pal Pty Ltd. Website www.boldpal.co.za, and Instagram is boldpal Pty Ltd.
Okay, guys, thank you for watching. Goodbye.